my mind, I'm gone to Carolina. Can't you see the sunshine?
All I had to say was my name and hometown. 5 words, for Pete's sake. I looked out and saw 25 sets of eyes, full attention focused on me, and I barely got my name out. It was day 1 of class. I was at Clemson majoring in finance, but I had clearly chosen the wrong major. I was failing my business courses, but could ace most any English class with little effort. Each semester I fit in at least 1 elective. Composition, creative writing, they were easy A's to balance the C's I made in accounting. But there was one English course I avoided. Ironically, it was the only one actually required for my finance degree. I had heard horror stories from students who had taken the class. Hands shaking, dropping their index cards, or worse, forgetting their lines. And here I was living that nightmare. There was no escaping this if I wanted to graduate. I was doomed to take public speaking. My roommate laughed at me. You sing in front of 200 people and you don't think you can speak in front of 25? She was right. What was wrong with me? I had been performing since I was 10. My music career started with my friend Phyllis. She lived a few houses down and invited me over one day to play some music on her new record player. Listening to Elton John and Carly Simon, we began to sing along and found that we could both carry a tune. We met in her room day after day, whiling away the summer, pretending to be pop stars. Phyllis's sisters would peek in to watch us sing, and my confidence grew with every compliment they gave us. Her mom bought us a couple of microphones and nudged us to practice harder. She seemed to harbor some dream of Phyllis becoming a star, and I was along for the ride. I learned to play guitar, and our performing career blossomed. Phyllis took center stage, managing the lead vocals, and I handled the harmonies and rhythm guitar. We got bookings around town and even played the concert stage at Six Flags. In truth, it was only for a handful of employees at their Sunday morning worship service, but it sure felt like the big time. Playing guitar came easy for me, and when a friend asked me to show him some basics, that came easy too. Word spread, and I began teaching guitar to students of all ages. I walked them through the parts of the guitar, the names of the strings, and basic chords. And with every successful student, my belief in myself grew. In college, I joined a rock band and played even larger venues, and even without my old friend Phyllis, I was comfortable on stage. Someone else was always out front, and I was off to the side, singing harmonies and having my guitar in hand. If I forgot the lyrics, I could always fill in with a guitar lick. I had been playing music my whole life. I was good at it, and so it felt safe. But here I was in this speech class, podium rattling beneath me. Everyone watching, waiting, ready to judge me on my speaking skills, and I had none. The first 2 weeks of class, we listened to the professor's instructions on how to craft a speech, maintain a good pace, and hold eye contact. And then came our first assignment, an introductory speech about who we were, where we grew up, and our hobbies. Sounds easy enough, right? Well, writing my speech was easy, but once I began to practice, The nerves set in. I know it's common to fear speaking in public, but for me, this felt paralyzing. Standing at the podium, I would be the main attraction, not sitting off to the side. No guitar to fill the void if I forgot the words. And those words I'd be saying wouldn't just be some other singer's lyrics. This would be me talking about me with everyone looking at me. The night before my speech debut, I desperately looked for some way out when suddenly inspiration struck. I crumpled up my speech, I threw it in the trash, and I went to bed. The next day, when my turn came, I headed to the back of the room where I had left my things. I unlocked the case and lifted out my guitar. Walking to the podium, I met the confused stares of my classmates. I avoided looking at the professor. I began my speech, An Introduction to Guitar, the Basics for Beginners. I described the parts of the guitar, the names of the strings, and how to craft some simple chords. I had done this speech dozens of times. There was no forgetting the words. With the guitar in my hands, I wasn't nervous, and it also gave those eyes somewhere else to focus. When I finished, the class applauded, the professor smiled, and I earned an A on the speech. I knew that I had used my guitar as a crutch, and I had bent the rules a bit. I introduced the guitar instead of introducing me. But I realized that I could draw on my own experience. That was my real security blanket. I gave 3 more speeches that semester, none with a guitar in my hands. I was nervous, but I got through them, and the podium didn't even rattle that much. After college, I never had a reason to speak in public again, but I did develop my writing beyond those term papers. I began to capture the humorous events of my life and share them with my friends. Last year, my husband went to an oral fixation show and came home excited. Honey, your stories are great. You could do this. What, write a story? I flashed back to that first day of speech class. Performing a story for oral fixation would mean actually talking about myself, not just some assigned speech. Finally, facing the real fear that I had so creatively avoided, me. Talking about me with lots of people looking at me. I flashed back again to the end of that semester. I had learned that if I want something, I can stretch beyond my comfort zone. One of my favorite quotes says that life is not about maintaining personal comfort, it's about growing the soul. That's why I'm standing here tonight, this podium rattling just slightly beneath me. I'm here pushing my envelope.